The Dead Sea Scrolls were discovered recently. What is its historical significance, and what should we do now? Currently, the text that Catholicism, Protestantism, and Judaism all commonly use as the standard for the Old Testament is called the Masoretic text. This is treated as the currently recognized official Old Testament. However, there is a distinct reason to deliberately refer to it as Masoretic. Frequently, mainstream academia claims that the Bible has been perfectly preserved, stating that the Dead Sea Scrolls from 2,000 years ago and this Masoretic text are 99% identical. But this is a highly irresponsible statement, casually tossed around as if speaking of a light event, and it is a truly dangerous assertion. The greatest historical significance of the Dead Sea Scrolls lies in the fact that God himself has proven and clearly revealed before the whole world that the Jewish community, which claimed to be the chosen people, turned their backs on God's will, made the Messiah a victim of power, and turned into the children of the devil to walk their own evil path. The existence of the Masoretic text we have today is merely a massive tool of deception that the Masoretic family, a faction of the Pharisees, and their aligned authorities have persisted with in order to hide their own shameful history within the Jewish community. In other words, it is a forgery and a false invention created by them. We must face three truths. First, the Masoretic text is not the original biblical text of all Israel. It is a text with a very high risk of forgery, heavily altered by a certain surviving sect of Judaism after the destruction of the temple in 70 AD to protect their own religious vested interests. Second, we must never be fooled by the smokescreen of the 99% match put up by the Jewish community and the mainstream Christian forces aligned with them. To obscure the identity of the Messiah and the evidence of the history of redemption, there is no need to overhaul the entire Bible. This is because cutting and altering just 1% of the key words in chronology is more than enough to completely twist the foreshadowing of the Messiah. Third, we must wake up from the strange, mystical illusion that God thoroughly protected every single letter of the book through some supernatural mechanical device. God has completely allowed human contaminated free will to change and manipulate the letters of the book throughout history. The Bible is not an artifact trapped in closed common sense. In the midst of the history of manipulation that the Jewish community tried to cover up, revealing that deception to the world through the genuine manuscript, preserving the Dead Sea Scrolls entirely to denounce that history of manipulation and deception, and finally excavating and revealing it in history. This is God's perfect providence and a revelatory event.